Hey, I'm Dave. And I own a local bowling alley. Bowling, you say? Well, yeah. I own one of the best bowling alleys around these parts. Just ask anybody. Except my ex-wife. I still owe her some money, I think. Anyway, getting back to the bowling alley. What's it called? Oh, sorry. It's called Pins Fall Down. Well, they do, unless you suck. Well, we got them bumper things for that. Well, things happen all the time here, and pins fall down. And not just people dropping balls on their feet or eating stale popcorn and nasty hot dogs. All kinds of people come in here to bowl, and yeah, to enjoy my stale popcorn. However, we did stop selling the hot dogs after that lawsuit a few years ago. Don't ask. For example, I'll tell you a little story about one of my regular teams that come here all the time. I remember one day Mike and the guys walked into my bowling alley like they were walking into a gunfight. Now, most of my regulars take bowling as a serious sport, but these guys, they take it up to a whole new level. You know where bowlers usually have their names on their balls? Well, these guys, they gave their balls their own names. For example, Jimmy calls his ball Blue Ball. Yeah, because it's painted blue. Sal calls his ball Red Robin. Because you guessed it, it's painted red. Ronnie? He calls his ball the Money Shot. Because it's painted green like his favorite thing. And Mike? Well, Mike just calls his ball, yeah. If you ever saw Mike bowl, you understand why he calls it that. In fact, everyone in this place grimaces when they see Mike walk in holding his ball. It seems every time Mike bowls a strike, he likes to yell out, yeah, as loud as he can. And seeing how Mike is the best bowler around, he tends to yell that quite often. Almost too often that it drives all the other bowlers to just walk away from him. Mike knows this bothers him, and he knows the other bowlers are upset, but you know what? If someone mentions it to him, he just laughs and he always says, well, it's not my fault they all suck. Mike kind of missed the whole point of good sportsmanship. Whenever Ronnie would bring this up to Mike would always respond the same way. How can I have good sportsmanship with such bad opponents? Mike didn't get it. I don't think he ever will. You know, it's always a good time when these guys would come in here to bowl. I mean, besides their crazy names for their balls, they each had their own celebration dance. Yeah. You must be, I tell you. I gotta tell you about that. Celebration dance? Yeah. Well, let's put it to you this way. I may be exaggerating that dancing part a little bit, because it's pretty clear to anyone with at least one good eye, these dudes ain't got no rhythm. Take Sal, for instance. When he bowls a strike with, as he calls it, Red Robin, he begins to jump around and shake like he has feathers. Or maybe bugs. Either way, it's his move, and believe me, nobody else wants it. Now, Jimmy, he's a strange one. When he bowls a strike with, as he calls it, Blue Ball, he immediately doubles over in pain, clutching his privates. It also looks like he may have some real bad gas. Either way, nobody gets near him during those rare occasions that he does toss a strike. And he can rest easy because nobody's going to steal that move. Then there's Ronnie. When he knocks 10 pins down with, as he calls it, the money shot, he just falls backward lying on the lane. Now we don't know if he's trying to make a grease angel or he's passed out for the excitement of actually counting up to 10. One thing's for certain. When these guys come in, people are either happy to see them or they run out the back really fast. In fact, you can usually set your clock to about 5 minutes after they enter. Then you'll probably be hearing somebody's car tires peeling out, leaving my parking lot. These guys are a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. And they are one of my regulars, which means they come here a lot and they have no problem spending their money here. So I put up with a lot of their crap. I mean, a lot. But you'll never see my tires peeling out in that parking lot. That's because I get to pay to repave that sucker. And it takes a lot of games and a lot of their so-called dancing to pay for that. Anyway, getting back to the story. It was a Friday night, league night. In fact, it was the last night of the Winter League, and Mike and the guys were playing for, you guessed it, the championship. They seemed a little nervous. I think I heard Sal say that Mike had a cold and wasn't feeling well. I also overheard a few of the bowlers on the other team laughing and saying he wouldn't have enough strength to scream yeah tonight. You know, deep down, I was kind of hoping the same thing. One night without Mike yelling yeah would be a good night. The game, I remember, was a close game. Actually, a lot closer than people thought it would. The game could have went either way. Especially since Mike, who was their best bowler, he wasn't himself that night. Mike was clearly under the weather. The rest of the guys could see this, so they knew they had to pick up their game because of Mike. One by one, they would walk up to Mike after he would leave a pin or 2 or 3 up there, and they'd tell him it was okay. You know, Mike knew they were just trying to cheer him up and help build his confidence, but he just looked pissed. As the last game was about to start, one of the players from the other team walked up to my counter with a smile on his face. I think his name was William. He asked me for a change for $1, so I turned around to my register to get it for him. With my back turned, he must have grabbed our house PA system, because all of a sudden, all through the whole bowling alley, everyone heard the word yeah. But it was whispered softly, followed by a chuckle. I quickly spun around. William handed the microphone back to me. Then he went and sat back down with his teammates, who were all high-fiving him and laughing. Well, needless to say, Mike was the first bowler up. But it didn't seem to faze him one bit. In fact, I don't even know if he knew what just happened, because he was acting normal. However, normal would be for someone like Mike. He took a few steps back from the lane, and then placed his entire head over the air vent that warms the bowling balls where they sit in the holder. Mike then picked up his head and walked slowly right up to the line and then stopped dead. He turned around slowly, wearing this crazy-looking smile, and then looked over at the other team. When he saw that they all saw him, he mouthed the words, "Yeah, bitches. Yeah." Well, what happened next is what legends are made of. Mike went on to bowl a perfect game. The first of his career. And the rest of the guys, well, they didn't bowl perfect games, but they had their best games ever. They went on to beat that team by 30 points. When I handed Mike the trophy, he walked over to the losing team and he stood in front of William, the one who grabbed my PA system earlier. Mike then told William, "This is yours, because without your help, I wouldn't have won it tonight. But before you leave, there's one more thing." Mike then walked up to my counter. I followed him. I grabbed the PA system. It was in my hand, and I was ready to give it to Mike, but he gave me a look. I looked back at him, and he just nodded yes. The whole place was silent. You could hear the fans on each lane blowing. Mike then nodded again to me, and I knew then what he wanted from me. So I yelled, "Yeah, bitches, yeah!" And the place went crazy. It was like a freaking New Year's. Or something that big. It was pretty epic. Never forget that night. The losing team, well, they ran out the back door, and yeah, there was tires screeching. Oh well. You know what? I guess we're going to have to put up a Mike and the guys for a little longer now, because you know, asphalt ain't cheap. You've just heard Asphalt Ain't Cheap, an original short story written by John J. Ruppert, February 14th, 2013. Yeah, Valentine's Day. So when you were kissing, I was writing. It was recorded and spoken by yours truly, John J. Ruppert, February 23rd, 2013. I am John J. Ruppert. I'm a Philadelphia poet, writer, reporter, actor, you name it. I try to do it because you only live once, brother. So do it. And I thank you for all your support. Till we meet again, be safe and be creative. And go bowling.